Hey everybody, it's Robert C. Stern with The Social Leader, and yes, we are here again with another Conversation Live. Today's guest is not only an amazing lifestyle blogger, brand ambassador and everything, and I honestly can say that I call her my friend. Met her on Blab just under a year ago. We have, and I've stated in a Facebook Live earlier when I was helping to promote this, we're going to talk about blogging, we're going to talk about traffic, maybe some marketing. But the thing is, whenever her and I get together, the conversation kind of goes like this. You just never know where it's going to go. So, and you never know what's going to come out of either our mouths. So I want to introduce, her name is Robyn Wright from Robyn's World, and thank you for coming on a Conversation Live.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here, and I am proud to call you my friend as well. I'm very happy that I met you on Blab. So, and I'll try to stay on topic as much as I can.
Robyn, you know when the two of us get together, we never stay on topic.
I know. Well, it is always on topic. I mean, that's the thing with social, right? It's people. It's real life people. And so you can pick a topic, but it still goes in and out because that's what the whole thing's about.
Exactly, exactly. So I know you're like really into this lifestyle blogging, especially food, because I love the food thing, especially your posts online when we have our conversations about what's for dinner. And I want to backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
Because you started the Robyn's World blog, if I'm not mistaken, was it 2008?
Yes.
And give a little history prior to that. You know, what led up to you getting into the blogging world?
Well, I have been online since the early 90s. And I started my first blog. It was called The Personal Website on AOL back in 92 or 93, I believe. And, you know, I was just playing around with the templates. Then you want to add cool stuff. So I learned some HTML, and then I hand coded. And then I've always had a personal website. And then I started a business. I started a sweepstakes website. And that was just for fun. That went for till we had the .com bubble burst. And so I made a lot of money for that. And then that went away. And then I was working for another sweepstakes website. And I was noticing blog giveaways. And I thought, well, that looks fun. I'm going to make a blog. So I made the current form of the blog back then. And that's how it got started.
So the sweepstakes was kind of like a blog, but it was kind of in the early ages of blogs, because I remember there used to be journal sites and message sites.
Well, it was the sweepstakes website I had was just a full-blown website. It was called the Winners Club, and I, you know, found sweepstakes that people could enter, and I posted them all, and we had, you know, advertising and, you know, affiliate I mean, it was a full-blown website. So that wasn't a blog at all. But it was when I found the giveaways that bloggers were doing, lifestyle bloggers. And a lot of them said, you know, if you share this on your own blog, you get an extra entry. So I made it my own blog, and it was on Blogger at the time.
Oh, okay. So you started yours in 2008.
Right.
What made you go lifestyle? Because, you know, blogging is so many areas to go to, and you went into lifestyle. Now, just so everybody knows, you're based out of St. Louis.
Yes.
So
St. Louis, sorry. So it started because it was a personal blog, and so I could talk about anything I wanted. And so that's just led me, it just kind of, that was the path I took. And I decided not to go into one particular niche because that's not who I am as a person. Just like you said with our conversations, they go a little bit of everywhere. You know, that's the way I think. And so for me, a lifestyle blog just made sense because I could talk about absolutely anything I wanted, which is what I do.
And you do it so well. So you decided to start a blog. Now, is your blog on WordPress?
Yes.
Okay.
Now it is. It was not at the beginning, but now it is.
Okay. So let's go back to the early days of your blog.
Okay.
This is what's on a lot of people's minds about blogs. When you started blogging,
right?
how long did it take to get like your first 20 subscribers? So like those first few blogs, because it was like,
it really did not, I was very lucky. I fell into the right place at the right time because of why I started it with the, I saw the giveaways and I wanted to win prizes. And then I started seeing, oh, this is how you work with the brand. So I signed up with a particular company and they sent me something and I did a review on it and they gave me another thing to give away. And part of the giveaway was that you sign up, you subscribe to me. And so as soon as I did that, it kind of took off. And then I started getting more and more. And then Nielsen, the TV people, they rate online and they named me a top 50 power mom blogger. And so after that, it just kind of went, whew, yeah.
So let's take the basic person, out there right now, because some people feel, you and I obviously are different, blogging is not what it used to be. Like
it's
if
not.
Start a blog now, would it still work?
Yeah, of course. It's just different. It's not the same as when if you talk to someone like me, how I started is probably not going to be how you start. Somebody else starts. And it depends on what niche you're in and, what you want to blog about and how much you want to do it. There's just so many different factors, but is it possible to make a blog and to have social media and do this for a living? Yes, it is. Even if you started today, it will take you a while. It takes a couple of years to build up and get that. I didn't start making money instantly, it took me a while, but it is definitely possible to do even if you started today.
Now, lifestyle bloggers, I think, have the advantage because they can kind of go off in many different directions.
Right.
Whereas a realtor or a retail shop, a florist, a jeweler, an insurance person, an accounting person, they kind of got a little bit of blinders on. I'm not saying a lot, but a little.
Right, but they don't have to, because you think about a realtor, right? So they can talk about houses they have for sale, how they work with buyers. They can give tips and hints on things. They can talk about mortgages. They can talk about decorating. They can talk about home repair. They can give a recipe to show a kitchen. They can show where the best deals are for shopping for things for your home. So you really just have to think about it in a wider perspective if you want to. Now, if you want to be really focused, you can do that, of course, too. But you really have to, you'll become an authority on it, but it's going to take a longer time for people to find you that way.
That's true. That's true. Because a lot of people feel that, oh, it takes so much time to write an article.
No.
And I think people have this feeling they got to write a book. And to me, a blog, and we're talking just a blog right now, and I'm going to change it a little bit in a minute or two, but a blog could be 2 paragraphs, can't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it can be as long or as short as you want. It can be no words. It can be all pictures. It can be a video blog. It can be a vlog. It can be anything. Typically 300 to 500 words is a good range for a lot of blog posts. And that's really not that many words. And you don't have to be a writer to write a blog. I have lots of friends who are writers. They're trained. They've gone to school. They're writers and they blog. I'm a blogger. I happen to write on my blog, but I don't consider myself a writer. So you don't have to know, you don't have to use everything properly. You can, use commas in different places. It's all right. It's not the end of the world. I mean, spell check and stuff, but you don't have to be a writer either. You just have to share what you want to share.
Definitely. Yeah. No. So you started in 08, you built up. How many subscribers do you personally have now?
On the blog?
Yeah.
So the email we only have, so the email that goes out, I think I'm at 1,800, which is a very low number. But I pull in from everywhere else, from Twitter and Facebook and, the other different formats. So that number doesn't worry me because I know the people are coming in. So You know, I don't care how they get there.
You know, you just brought up an interesting point, and this goes kind of in a social media trend overall. And
Right.
you know, it shows that it works for, that's how it works for blogs, but it works for Facebook, it works for Instagram. Just because people don't subscribe and just because people don't like or comment on your posts doesn't mean it's not being seen.
Exactly. And I would say too that I've never focused on subscribers to my blog. It's never really been a big number for me to worry about. I did that with my sweepstakes website. You know, I had over 50,000 subscribers to my daily newsletter that went out. So that was, I mean, I could see when I sent out a newsletter, boom, you got results right away. This form was just something else for me. And so I just didn't worry about it. And I still don't worry about it. I do go and check my stats every once in a while, but I don't stress over numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I do that too with like the Google Analytics or the WordPress Analytics. You see how many people go to what page and what they're doing and time on it and stuff. And it's good to use it as a guide to see that at least it is being seen. Right. Because you got a big donut on it. Okay, what's going on? Is there a link problem? Is there something else?
Right. Exactly.
So traffic-wise, you get them to your blog, and is it a situation with your personally, because I know I've done things like that, where you take them and you literally have them read stuff on your blog, but you use, you know, call to action CTAs to do other things from there. It could be to a website or a landing page or something else.
Yeah, so my biggest call to action on a blog post is generally for them to leave a comment. That's my goal. I want them to leave a comment. I want to know what they're thinking. And I end almost every single post with a question. I always ask a question. I mean, it's the easiest way to do it. And it tells them you're interested in them. And then make sure you reply to those comments you get too. But sometimes I will give them, if I'm doing a branded thing, I will say, you know, go visit this company or go check out this or whatever. I have made it easy for people to follow me on all the different social channels. That's one thing bloggers really, some of them, they suck at, is they put the individual widgets and they're like on the sidebar, and there's like one here for Facebook, and down here there's one for Twitter, and over here there's something else. Put them all together and make it easy for people. And that, so my call to action is I want them to talk back to me. And I don't care if they can do it on my blog, but they can do it on Facebook. They can send me a note on Twitter. They can reply. I don't care where they do it. Just talk to me. That's it.
Exactly. Now, how important when you're marketing is hashtags for you?
Hashtags are most important to the brands, not so much to me. I mean, I use them because that's what I do for a living. The only other place that we really use them a lot is Twitter. That's where I use them most of the time. And that's if I'm doing a chat or something in there. Instagram, I do use them on there too a bit, but that's really, and that's just for people to find things when they're searching. One of the interesting things is that I don't use the internet necessarily like my average user does, right? I'm not searching for things all day. I'm working all day, but it's very rare that I'm searching for something that I'm talking about. Does that make sense? So the hashtag thing doesn't really work for me. Or like my husband, his default search is YouTube. He searches YouTube for everything, and that's where he gets his answers. And I'm like, that makes me crazy. I'm like, you have to watch a video to find. I'm like, I just want the answer now. You know? And so, but I do see that there's so many other people that they are taking the time just to kind of scroll and kind of wander around on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, on blogs and that. And so I have to try to put those tools in there, like hashtags, to use for people who do want to use them. And that, and so that's where they become important to the blogger themselves. Or if you're branding yourself all the time, and you want to include a hashtag on everything you do.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in hashtags for marketing purposes, because Instagram, Twitter, and some point on Facebook, not as
Right.
strong on
It's
Facebook.
It's better now on Facebook. So
It's getting better. It's kind of, one of the things I do, because, now I'm into a lot of Facebook Lives. I actually put in my title, I spell out Facebook Live as a hashtag, and I do FB hashtag, because I noticed Reuters and CNN and those guys are doing it. So people are going to them for that. So I said, well, wait, I want my stuff to be seen by all those people too. So I'm throwing those hashtags in.
Yep. and you should. And that's the thing. If you notice, especially someone who's getting a lot of traffic like that, definitely, what is that? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. It's not copying. It's not copycatting, because you're just stealing. You're not stealing any content. You're using the same ideas and that, but that's okay.
Exactly. So, I mean, I use hashtags to market out stuff and do things like that. And then in blogs, I know some of you work with clients, or you're talking about a product of somebody else's stuff. When you market them, and even in your blog, do you tag them?
Yes, I do use a hashtag and tag the brands. You mean on their things? Yes, I cross everything. So
even in the blog itself, as an SEO tag, you use it as a.
Exactly. Yes, I'll put the hashtag in there if there is a specific one for that I'm doing, and then everybody gets crossed. I get everybody's links in there and all that kind of good stuff for people to see. So, but I try to do it in a way that's not invasive or overly commercially for my readers, because they don't want to read a commercial. They want to know what I think, and that's what's gotten me where I am, is that people that read me regularly, they see that I am really giving them the truth of what I think about things. I happen to be very nice, so I don't, even if there's a negative, I can flip it a little bit. That's just who I am, though. So it's not that I'm not dissing anything. Every once in a while, I, get on something. But that's part of it, is that they don't want to read a commercial. They don't want to read a script that someone else has typed out, or a press release. They want to know my words, my thoughts, my feelings. So that's what I do.
Well, the reason I brought it out, because when you do tweet it out and you put, let's say, at so and so to get their attention, there are times that the companies will then go read those blogs, and if they do like it, they'll retweet it to their following.
All the time that happens, and I have gotten so much business from brands that I'm tweeting to them for some other, that I bought, used their product or whatever, service, whatever. And I'm tweeting at them, and they see it, and eventually they end up hiring me, and I work with them then, and I get paid for it at that point. So, it's just one of those things that happens, and it happens pretty regularly. If they see what you're doing, they can watch your streams on whatever channels they want, and they see what kind of content you're doing. If you have a blog, they can go look at that, and they'll go, oh, that was really cool that this person took the time to talk to us when we didn't even approach them first. And that's how a lot of the ambassador programs have started out. Dell was really famous for reaching out to people, and that because they let their employees tweet and talk to people on their behalf, and they didn't have to go through legal for everything. So,
which kind of brings us into, because we during our blab sessions, a lot of times we talked about influencer marketing,
right?
And I don't think a lot of people took it as that's what bloggers do.
Not all bloggers, but that's what most of them. If you're talking about making money and doing stuff and working with brands, yes, that's exactly the kind of blog we're talking about. There are still people who write them just for truly personal reasons and have nothing, else on there. But.
Oh, exactly. No, but I'm saying the lifestyle bloggers, the
tech bloggers, deal bloggers, all those food bloggers. Yes.
All those guys are using this stuff.
And I want to say something about affiliates. Okay. All right. So for bloggers, your traffic as a blog generally is not going to be as high as what traditional websites are going to be. And the thing about affiliate marketing is that it's a numbers game for sure. It's kind of like the spam you get. Everybody wonders, why do the spammers keep sending it out? I'm just deleting. Because one person out of 2 million will actually click on that link of that spam. So affiliate links are like that too. You may put them in there, and if you're good at combining it into your content, it'll be a little bit easier. But still, it's a number. You've got to get them over to that site. Then you got to get them to make the actual purchase while they're there, or while the cookie lasts and stuff. And so I always get frustrated when you get emails from companies and they go, oh, well, we have an affiliate marketing program. Nope, I don't want a chance to get paid. If you want me to talk about you, I want paid, period, up front, And now if it's something, I do belong to a few affiliate programs, but I think for most bloggers, unless you have enormous traffic, it's not the way to go for most things.
That's interesting. No, that's a good take. So how important do you think the everyday business should be as a blog? I mean, there's so many small businesses out there, whether it's a service industry, kind of like me or you at times, and I work obviously in the marketing aspect, but I mean, even doctors, accountants, retail shops, small little mom and pops, or even the big corporations. How important do you feel blogging is for them to put out their voice, their messages, things that are going on?
I think it's really important because it shows the human aspect behind your company. Okay, if you are a giant corporation or a little store down on Main Street, when you have a blog or any of the social media tools, whichever one you prefer to use, but when you use it in a personal way, it's people, it's social media. It's not commercial media, it's not advertising media. I mean, it does those things, but you want to really see the people behind it. So if you have a medium-sized company, give your employees a chance to make a blog, a video, whatever, that talks about what do they like about working there, or just what's going on. Or if you have one employee who's great at barbecuing and barbecues every Friday for everyone, tell people about that. It makes your company more real to them, more human, and it makes people connect with you more, and therefore they're going to come and use your company.
True. That's so true. Because I mean, who is it I saw one time? I think it was John, the CEO of T-Mobile. I forgot his last name, John something, because he's always on live streaming with his running and this and that. And he's got a mouth at times. So, but there was some issues going on with something, and I didn't know. He actually has a blog from the CEO.
I love that.
And it's coming from him. It's not like one of these, the company's going to be doing this. It was like his voice coming out.
Right. And it made it personal. And I have heard lots of stories, and they're all like positive regarding him. Now, just legal may not like him so much, at his company, but
it's coming out of his mouth.
That's right. But it makes it more personal. And that's why some of the brands that I work with, when influencers and bloggers are able to develop long-term working relationships with them, you become a voice for that brand and an authority for them, even though you're not an employee. There are a couple brands that I work with, and I have people all the time, online and off, all different areas. They know that I've worked with some of these companies for years, and they come and ask me questions about their products, services, whatever. Like if I was working in a store, and you go up to the person with the red vest on. I'm the red vest person for these couple of companies that I've worked with so long.
Yeah, no, it's true. So, there was a discussion going on yesterday on Facebook Live. Good friend of ours. I don't know if you know her that much. Her name's Delilah. She's out in the Midwest. Actually, Central. And she was talking about there were 3 ways, and I'm curious how you feel about them, how they portray into blogging. to get viewers and people to connect and link. And hers was more towards websites for marketing purposes, but I kind of thought it was kind of about getting traffic. That was the whole idea.
Okay.
And she uses it as the 3 B's.
Okay.
You can, now I got to remember what they were. Oh, build it. In other words, slowly build your content and get it out there and everything else.
Sure.
You can borrow a person's audience.
Sure.
Or you can buy a person's audience. So building it is what we're basically talking about. You know, throwing your blogs out there and marketing them like crazy.
Right.
But borrow is an interesting concept because I know it's used in the blogging world.
Sure. Sure. I'm borrowing your audience right now.
And vice versa.
Yes. And so working in combination with people like that, and I guess and I made a face when you went to buy. Well, but I'm going to go into saying it's the same kind of thing though, that when a brand works with me, they're buying or borrowing, depending on what the arrangement is, my audience. And so when we're talking about like buy, 25,000 likes someplace, no, don't do that. But it's an interesting way to look at it. I kind of like that.
And the thing with the borrow got me because when I was thinking blogging our conversation, the guest bloggers. All
right, and I have a thing about guest bloggers. I
don't hear it.
No. All right. So I'm a little bit of a control freak about some things. I know you probably could never guess that about me, but
I bet you were the easiest going person that's always making everybody happy.
I am easygoing though, in some ways, but as far as my blog goes, it's very rare for me to have a guest blogger. Like no pitches that I get, like random pitches, ever get on my blog because it's Robyn's world, right? So mine is specifically my name, and some of my friends who started about the same time, they've grown and they have other people working for them and, different writers. And I get annoyed sometimes when I go and I think I'm reading my friend's version of something. And then I realize it was written by one of their writers. And I'm like, oh, geez. So for me, in the lifestyle blogging area, I just hold on tight to that control. It's my baby. And, I'm taking care of that baby. So, and it's my voice. So I don't do that, but I do occasionally write on other blogs because they ask me to, and then I'm happy to do it. I just don't bring it back into my world.
Because it's not named their world, it's Robyn's world.
That's exactly right. We were talking about that last night. The twins, they were just playing and stuff, and the mom, she was saying something about they're going to start going mine. And I was like, oh, grandma's the greatest at mine. And she's like, what? And I was like, ask Brad. And he goes, yup. If it's something's hers, like, the phone or, a computer, so she goes, no, it's mine. Get your own. That's what I say. So.
I love it.
Hey, but listen, when we started getting computers, I didn't want to share mine, so I made sure everyone in the household has their own devices and stuff. I will buy you a device. You just can't borrow mine. Use your own. So.
Makes sense. Makes 100% sense.
All right, I went off track. Sorry.
What did I say? No, but it's true. Like that borrowing thing is about guest blogging on something else. You get to be a guest blogger, and your following will follow you over. And you know who's the biggest of all for guest blogging?
Well,
the Huffington Post.
Huffington Post, yeah.
It's 90% of their articles. Well, maybe not 90, but 70% of their articles are not from staff.
Right. And then you have places like BuzzFeed that just steal other people's content.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a second.
All right.
We were talking about, you read blogs from other people. It gives you ideas about writing your own blog. And unfortunately, there are people out there that kind of copy a blog and change a few words in it maybe, or not even, and then pop it out on their own blog.
Right. It happens all the time. I think at some point that, you know, you need to watch your content. There are different sites that you can check and services that you can use to watch for scrapers who are just coming and pulling everything. And I would also say, as an end user, it's important for you, if you do search for something and you come up with a search result and you go to a web page, most of us can kind of tell a scraper site at this point. You see all the extra ads and like there's some things that don't make sense. Get off of that page. Don't stay there and read it. Go find the original someplace, you know. But I think it is important, just like with anything you would create in the world, you would want to make sure that it's protected. And if you want to share it freely, that's fine. Tell people you can use it freely. I don't care. It's up to you. But if not, you know, watch out for that. I think you can be inspired by other people. Recipes are like that. Recipes themselves are not copyrighted. A list of ingredients is not copyrighted. The part that can change is when you add those extra little comments in, and like, oh, well, I do this, and then make sure you do this, and that stuff is.
Instead of pouring the flour in, make sure you sift it, or
right.
These different things.
Right. And so we run into that a lot in the lifestyle, you know, people who do write about food, sharing recipes and stuff. And but there are a lot of people who just steal them. I had someone, I created a recipe for a brand, and it was a couple of years later, and this guy entered it in a contest as his own original recipe, my photo, everything. And so the brand came back to me and said, you know, we just want to make sure we got this. That was your original stuff, not his, right? That you didn't take it from him. And I'm like, no. I said, that's my pictures and everything. I said, I made that in my kitchen and I ate it. It was good. You know, I said that he's stealing it from me. And of course, you know, they kicked him out of the contest, and I told him, I'm like, don't do that. I told the guy, and he was like, sorry. So, you know, but if you want to be inspired, if I go to your blog and I read an article that's about the 3 Bs, like you were just talking about, and I know that was from Delilah, you said, right. So you were inspired by Delilah to talk about that today. And then if I went and you had done another post on it too on your blog, it's still inspired by Delilah, but I can still reference back to you. And you probably reference back to Delilah, and you share those links if you're, you know, talking about something that someone else has talked about in depth that inspired you to write something. Give them some credit. It's okay to do that. You don't, you know, our thoughts are our own, but there's only so many ideas in the world at the same time. I mean, it's a different twist on everything.
Exactly. So you go out, you write a blog. Now, what days does your blog come out?
Every day.
Oh, you have a new blog every day?
Yeah.
Wow.
Except for not always Sundays. Most of the time. I have to say, you know, with the twins, I took several days off and here and there, but generally speaking, Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
Sunday now, I try, but.
With your blog, so a blog post comes out on the blog.
Yep.
What do you personally do that makes sense in your techniques to help market it? I mean, obviously, you punch it out on Facebook, you punch it out on Twitter, because I know you got a large Twitter following. What other types of things do you feel marketing helps to bring other people in? I mean, specifically.
Well, and it depends on the type of blog post it is and that. But along with sending it out to the social channels, create some different images for the same post. So as you are sharing, as you go on, because you can reshare the content. You don't have to do it just the day it comes out. You can share it tomorrow. You can share it next month. If it's relevant, you can do it a year from now if you want. You know, evergreen content is awesome. And so make up different things. Don't put everything out either at the same time everywhere. I know a lot of us, and I'm bad about this too, you have it automated to go out to certain channels as soon as it's posted. But you're better off scheduling those at different times so that way you get it spread, because you have a lot of people who will follow you on multiple channels, and then they get a little annoyed sometimes when they see the same thing everywhere, because they know it's automated, right? So take the time. Then you can also share out, if you've mentioned someone else, let them know, share that to them on their public profiles, walls, Twitter feeds, whatever, that, hey, I mentioned you today. A brand, the same thing, I mentioned you today. Use headlines, like if you're solving a problem for someone, ask, have you ever had this problem? Here's how to fix it. And then you put the link to your post in there. So anything that just pulls the reader in. Now, there are a lot of people who like to use the headlines that are, you read them and you think, oh, this is going to be great, and you go and you're really disappointed. You're like, oh, that's not really what they promised in their headline. Yes, it's a way to get traffic.
Bait and switch.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the bait and switch, and it turns me off to that blog, that person. If I see that on a regular basis, I'm like, no, because I'll give them a couple times that maybe, all right, they were being quirky or creative, or maybe they didn't really, maybe they wrote the headline first before they wrote their post, and it just didn't end up matching up. But if I see it on a regular basis, I think they're not an authority. They just want my traffic. And I'm not going to listen to them. So I just kind of tune it out. So that, my thing is always try to be authentic. Don't try to mislead people, but you still want to build it up when you're marketing, And even if the post is about business, find an image that you can use and share that on Instagram, and put the link in there over on Instagram too. You don't have to just keep it there. And then it was either you or Tim, Rocker Life Coach Tim,
He's coming in about a week.
Okay. It was one of the two of you that were talking, I think it was you, that talked about doing the little snippets on Snapchat or, yeah. And you take like a little snippet of what you posted, and it's a full tip or a full thought, but it's a snippet, and then you tell them, hey, I got a whole blog post about this. Come on over and take a look at the rest of it. I love that idea. I think that's awesome. That was you, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
No, I have a whole, actually, when a blog comes out, because I've slipped on my blogs and they're starting to come back now.
Right.
One of the things I do is, if a blog post comes out, and I'm going to use a schedule, I have a schedule for every blog post that comes out. And believe it or not, it's a 7-day schedule.
I believe it.
I have it go for 7 days. I do not post the blog all over the place on day one. I filter it out slowly.
I like that.
So, in other words, I write the blog, so whoever subscribes obviously gets it real quick. And I don't have a very large subscription, so it's whatever. And that day, I'll put it on Facebook. And that day I put it on Facebook and Twitter. Now, Twitter I treat differently. I actually tweet out a new blog for 3 days in a row every 5 hours.
I got no problem with that.
Because, and the reason is, with Twitter,
it's a scrolling kind of thing.
It's lost within an hour and a half. Plus, there are different people that check things different times of day. Not everybody has lists set up in Twitter, so they can see certain people, which I'm doing a whole video on, so that'll be a different thing.
I don't know how you do. I don't know how people do Twitter without lists. It makes me crazy. And they're like, I can't see everything going by, and I'm like, because don't do it that way. That's why. So, all right.
But yeah, so every 5 hours for 3 days. So it's like, starts at 9 in the morning. That means 2 in the afternoon, 7 at night, 2 in the morning, 7 in the morning, every 5. And the reason I pick an odd number, because it's changing really better than the even numbers.
I like that. I may be inspired by you.
Yeah, and you can use Hootsuite to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that that would be a good A/B test for me to do, on 2 similar posts to see what happens in the difference in traffic and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And so I have Twitter and Facebook, and then 2 days later, now I have to change this whole thing because social media has changed over the last year. What I used to do was I had a blog, I put it out. 2 days later, I did a Periscope about the blog, but now I can do a Facebook Live. And I would take now that little conversation about it, and now I'd go back to the blog and I'd add it into it.
Oh, so you're updating, you're adding those snippets into the actual blog post? I like that. So that it's a teaser for people who get there. They can go, oh, let's just watch this quick little thing. And then they can.
In other words, I wrote the blog. I started to get it out to people. Then I did a quick Periscope, or now a Facebook Live, or a YouTube thing that's coming out soon.
Right.
Now I'll take that video and I'll add it to the blog, update, conversation, which is live because there's conversation and there's comments and stuff, answering questions about the thing. Now what you've done to your blog was you just added video to it as an SEO.
Awesome.
Now what I used to do, but we don't do it anymore, was then now the next day I put the LinkedIn in. I would then snip it into LinkedIn. I do the first maybe paragraph or two, and then a click here to see the rest of the article on my blog. Then if it came out Monday, then on Sunday, I used to do a blab about it. And guess what I did with the blab? I then put it on the bottom. So now by the end of week 1, I have a written blog with my own pictures, and we'll talk about that in a second. I have a little Periscope video thing, and then I had a discussion of a group of people about the topic on the bottom.
Love it.
Then the following week, I would tweet it out again because now it's changed.
Right.
So it becomes
it's all new content. Yeah, that's great.
And it's all on the original blog page, and it's written.
And then how often do you? So after a week or two. Mm-hmm. Right? You've got other things you're posting now. You know, you've got new blog posts coming up. How often do you go back and revisit those and maybe share them out again?
Oh, I do it tons of times. Tons of times. I'm still tweeting out or putting an update on. Maybe things changed, and let's say I do one that's on Facebook ads.
Right.
I do a blog about it. Now Facebook ads changes along the way.
Right.
So what I may do is I might go back to the original blog. I'll put a double line on it, and then I'll write update.
Right.
Instead of writing a brand new blog, I will update the blog with the changes, unless it's drastically changed. But if it's changes in different things,
right.
And then I'll shoot it back out saying, wrote this a year ago. Most of it is still the same, but I added the updates to it.
Right. Right.
So now, and what I like about bringing people back to old, like I did the interviews on Blab, I did Joel Comm, and I did Ted Rubin and things like that, and Melody Dodaro in Canada, and Chris Ducker down in the Philippines. I shoot those out still occasionally, and those are 9 months old.
Right.
Because they still drag people back to it, and you're bringing people back to an article that's on your blog, but once they're in your blog, and they like what they've heard, read, or see, they tend to search and see what else you've done.
Exactly. I think the related posts and stuff at the bottom of blog posts, really fabulous. I get a lot of traffic from that. They're clicking over and saying, oh, I read this, and this is related. I'm going to go look and see what this one is too. So I get a lot of traffic that way.
Yeah, if you like this post, you may like this with the titles, and then you click it, and it opens up.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's but getting back to the picture side of it.
Yes.
I mean, you see what's been going on with me on Facebook, and I don't know if you've been watching on Instagram. I've been getting tons and tons. Everybody's loving my pictures lately because I've gone full-blown Canva. Love Canva.
Are you doing Canva for work? Did you subscribe?
I didn't subscribe for that. I'm still using the basic Canva. But
now
that they have mobile on the iPhone, and I use obviously on the computer too, and everything's set up for you, and you can do your own dimensions if you want also.
Right.
So like yesterday, I put something up on LinkedIn, and they don't have a LinkedIn dimension. So I went to LinkedIn. I wanted to make sure it was 700 by 400. I went back to Canva. I created it. So I'm using, there's a stock site called Pexels, Pexels.com.
Okay.
3 photos.
Good.
And all you got to do is hit save and download, and there's no anything.
How are they about policing the photos to make sure they really are free content, though?
Well, they have to be uploaded to Pexels and approved from the photographer.
Good. And I like that. And the reason I ask that is because there are, I mean, a lot of people still just like search in Google for images, and it's like, don't do that. Yeah.
When I was a realtor, because I was a realtor before I did this, and I started my blog back in, I don't know, 04, 05 or 03, somewhere in there. And that's what I did.
I think all of us have done that at the beginning.
And I got a letter 7 months later from Getty.
Oh, Getty.
I must have picked a really good photo.
Yeah.
Here's this cease and desist, and you owe us $800.
Wow.
And I spoke to people about it, and I went to an attorney. I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
And I went out, and they said, just go pay it and take it off, because there's just no way you're going to win.
Yeah, not against Getty. So, yeah.
You know, so these things are important. So I'm very big on, you know, you see a rainbow in the sky, or you see lightning or something that looks amazing. Take a picture of it. You might be able to use, and now with all these filters, it's easy to be able to enhance your pictures and do things. And
so or even things like signs and stuff. Like, don't you always want a sign? I seem to like want that. So like, I have some pictures I've taken of stop signs, yield signs, railroad crossing, you know, those kind of signs even, or just billboard kind of signs and stuff like that. I use Pixabay as one of them that I also use that has free, and I have uploaded some of my own images. They're very picky though. Sometimes they reject some of my pictures and stuff. It's overdeveloped. I think it's just a couple of their editors probably are a little pickier than others. And then I also like Graphic Leftovers, which is not free, but it's cheap. Most of them for blog size images are like $1, and it's good quality images, and I can usually find tons of stuff. And that, so those are the 2 that I really like. Morgfile is kind of good, not as good quality, and those are totally free.
Well, the funny thing is that Canva has tons of photos, and they're only $1. Yeah.
See, but this is my problem with Canva is that I like Canva, but I don't. It's a lot of stuff, you know, when it's right there, and then it gets mixed up. It's like the free stuff and the paid stuff is all right there, and I know it's marked, but I want to be able to filter it more. You know, and just put, because some days I'm in a free mode, depends on what I'm working on. Some days I'm willing to pay. If I'm getting paid, you know, $2,000 for a post on something, yeah, I'll spend the money and I'll buy some, you know, some of the images I need and stuff. But if I'm doing something for free, no, I won't.
So you were talking about signs that you see around. I'm gonna use this as a post somewhere. I don't know if it's Instagram or something else. This was outside a pool.
Yeah.
And it was at a camp. See if we can get it.
Caution, future world leaders and local leaders at work. I like that. That's awesome.
Camp.
I like it. See,
I was like, whoever made that sign was brilliant.
Yep. Yep. There's some great, and it's great stuff, and that's your picture. You know that's yours. Nobody's going to come after you on that one. So. And
that's the thing. There's so many things you can be taking pictures of. It's kind of like I'm talking to somebody who I'm going to be helping with their social media and stuff, a dog trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of said, well, you know, let's get your Facebook page up and things like this and everything. I said, you know, you really should be using Periscope and Facebook, and I'm going to tell you why. Why can't you have your phone on a tripod with the owner's
permission? Yeah.
And film 15 minutes of you actually training the dog.
Yep.
And he was like, I never thought of that.
Yep.
I was like, it's just being creative.
It is, and that's what it takes. That's why when you watch things like this show right now, or read other blog posts about marketing and social media and stuff, is that you do get ideas, but it's not just from them. It's from other like tech blogs or food blogs or whatever you read. that you go, you know, that was really interesting how they did that. And even though it's not about marketing, you learn marketing from it. So, and I want to say too that with pictures, if you have, you know, like a DSLR camera that you like to take out, you could take, you're probably taking more pictures with this for people that have these. When you take them out, take tons of them, because you can crop all those down and cut them all down. It's all digital now and stuff. And so I do that a lot. I tend to like go places and I'll take this one, even though I have my phone with me too. I may snap you know, pictures like that too. But if I'm thinking stock photos, then I take this one out. And by the way, if you save things to your cloud, then you can just pull them into Instagram evenly that are from the, you know, your DSLR and stuff. So
yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize when they take a family day and you want to unplug, and you know, we all want to do those things. You know, you're playing with the two twins, you know, with Valerie and Violet, and you know, if I'm with my daughters or doing my things or wherever else, and let's say it's summertime, it's springtime, it's fall time, even wintertime, and you go someplace outside, and it's like, oh wow, this is like really nice here. Take a picture, because you may not use it right away, but a month from now, you may want to use that picture in your blog or on a post on Facebook or something on Twitter or on LinkedIn or something. I'm constantly taking pictures.
Yep. And I would say too, don't forget about your old pictures back in the photo days, you know, printed. Scan them in. I have used so many old pictures from my family, of me, of, you know, places we've been, because it's like, you know, Throwback Thursday was a big thing for a while and stuff, but still going back and talking about your memories, even if it's like a food memory or something. I have a picture of me with an Easter bunny cake, you know, a bunny cake for my birthday was right around Easter that my grandma made with me and my grandma and my aunt and stuff. And it totally fit into a post that I was doing. Yes, the quality's not as good, but we all go, yeah, but it's retro, and everybody gets that. And so it's like perfectly fine to have a photo like that.
I put one up last year. I found, I took a picture of it years ago and I totally forgot about it. And I found this picture. My mom and dad, when they bought the house, they had the flyer.
Aww.
And I took a picture of, because it was new construction back then.
Right.
I'm talking almost the 50s, late 50s, early 60s.
Right.
And there was the sketched out pencil kind of drawn on the top. The flyer looks the same as it does today, but it obviously not as modern. Not a lot of color or anything. Talking about the house and the taxes, $18,000 for the model house and $500. I saw your eyes. $500 for the tax. This is Long Island, remember?
Yeah.
And $500 for the taxes. So I took a picture of it and then I popped it up last year, going, remembering when, you know, my parents bought the house, but look at the prices.
Yeah.
Back then, imagine, and you know, my mom, they had a bi-level house. It was 4 bedrooms. It was 2-car garage, you know, and the amount of comments I got on that thing, like, oh, you know, one from my friends from growing up, Comac, you know, but even other people from other areas going, oh my God, when was this from?
Right. But, and it doesn't, you can go back a little or a lot even. I actually just got Sears, somebody puts out replicas of old Sears catalogs, and my grandparents always had one, and when we cleaned out their house, I took it. So it's a reprint, but it's a reprint of, I think, 1903 or 1908. And to look at that catalog and see the stuff, and I got it out for my daughter-in-law. I said, just, you know, if you're just bored, just glance through it, because it's fun to look at all the different stuff. And I just opened it randomly, and there was like 3 pages of trusses advertised in there. And I was like, she's like, trusses? And I'm like, yeah, it was funny.
But you know, those pictures could be amazing for blogs.
Exactly. And that's the thing. So you go back and you can scan in, if you can look at, find copyright free or things that the copyright's expired on, you know, that's in public domain. You can scan those things in, and those old ads people like. We had a 1953 Plymouth for a while. My husband made into a rat rod, but we found some of the original advertising, And I love that it had enjoy the all new plasticized interior, which meant vinyl, you know, but it was, they tried to word it to make it sound so fancy. And if you look at the sexism in the old ads, in even, you know, they were like, ladies, you can buy a matching coat that matches your car and stuff. And they sold them at the dealership. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Don't forget the aprons you had to buy, because back then the women were in the kitchen.
That's right. But going to antique shops, antique malls, even if you're not buying, taking pictures of some of those old items that you see really can go a long way in a lot of posts. And even if it's not about old stuff, you know, sometimes it's just an interesting item and it'll fit somehow.
Well, because then you can get into blogging about how things have changed in your industry, depending on what you're blogging, a retail shop, clothing, makeup, you know, show the old stuff with a picture next to the new, you know, it's kind of like showing the old crazy rotary phone next to a brand new iPhone 6. Yeah,
they've had to redo worksheets for schools and stuff too, because kids don't know what those old rotary phones are. You know, in the basic little pictures we had like in kindergarten, they don't know what that is. They had to take those out because kids have no idea.
It's like asking a kid what a the cross sign is, the double cross.
Oh, it's a hashtag.
And they'll look at it and go, oh, it's a hashtag. And I'm like, well, it's a pound sign. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Sometimes you might get a tic-tac-toe out of them, but you never get the pound sign. Yeah.
Depending on the age.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, everything is relative now. And these are blog things that you could be doing. And believe it or not, in my opinion, nostalgic blogs do very well.
Because people can relate to them. And that's the same. So it's really kind of random everyday things, and nostalgic things are things that and cute things. That's why cute kittens and babies and stuff. But it's anything people can relate to. So like on my Facebook page, I know you've seen me do this, Robert. I've been kind of slacking off on it lately. I ask like a totally random question that anybody can relate to. And I get lots of people. I'm like, how many doors are in your house? People are so funny. I know, they were so funny because they're like, do you just mean outside and inside doors, or all the doors? What about cabinet doors? What about doors? I'm like,
I brought up and said, what do you want for the cabinet doors?
I'm like, it's not a trick question, but you saw all the people. Some people actually went and counted, some didn't, some included this, some included that. Even if you ask a simple thing, coffee or tea, Coke or Pepsi, black or white, you know, day or night. People love those short things. And when you do that, you're building your usage up, and then the algorithms that these different networks, especially Facebook, use, see that these people are interacting with you a lot on this. So when you have another thing that's about your blog post or something like that, more people are going to see it.
And it's funny you say it, because I mean, I started 5 years ago, and I don't do it that much anymore, only because my mind with questions is starting to get crazy, because I used to do Robert's question of the day for 4.5 years, every single day at the same time.
Wow.
I got people on there. I'm talking hundreds of comments, hundreds daily, because they were simple. It was, what's your favorite thing you like to put on a pizza? Or what book are you reading now?
Same kind of stuff. All right, I may start doing Robyn's question of the day here. I may.
But the problem was, I got to a point that I was running out of questions.
Yes. Well, and what I'll do is I'll make up a bunch of questions to start with.
Well, and that way I can just research online, like icebreaker questions and things like that. I was trying to find questions. I went almost 3 years solid without missing a day. Wow. And one time I started to put a question up, and one of the first few comments, Rob, you did this question already. I mean, that's what kind of following it built up.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. I know one, and the questions, searching for like journal prompts. I have 2 posts on my blog about journal prompts for like teens and tweens. But I've also gone back and said, hey, bloggers, here's a good idea, you know, to get you started if you're blocked a little bit or whatever. And the same kind of thing. So those are some of my most popular posts. People love that. And they search for it. I'm getting organic searches on those post as well.
In real estate, when in my blog once a week, I used to do an interview with a store owner in town, and it was called my business spotlight of the week.
Yeah, and
so
Karen and I,
Maria, it could have been a small little mom and pop shop store that does children's clothing, and these are blogs.
And most of those little store owners and stuff get excited. If I go into a store, there's even some of them that'll say there's a dog bakery. It's got no pictures, no camera, because their competition was coming in, taking pictures and stealing their ideas. Yeah. They were blatant about it. But I went in there the one day and I'm like, I would love to share a couple of pictures of the store in general and stuff, but I'll tell people exactly where you are and stuff. And she's like, that would be awesome. And I just did it just because I like the store. We go down there, we buy stuff for our dog,
Mm-hmm.
So people are really willing to work with you and say, sure, come on in, try it out.
Even an interview could be done on a blog.
Yeah.
A written interview. It doesn't have to be the video or anything else. The question, the answer, here, little blurb in the beginning of saying all these different things. And I think if you put out an interview, and depending who you get to interview, let's say, you got lucky, I'm trying to get a sports guy right now.
Like you have me right now.
Well,
and you have me, right.
We're doing video. So I'm saying you could actually do a written video where you could tape record it, come back, retype the whole thing, and put it out. And if it's a name type person that people want to read about, guess what? They're gonna follow it and they're gonna go read it. So I mean, I do believe your headline and your graphic is very important for traffic, because that's what draws them in.
But you got to have that content.
But it always comes down to the content. If it's really poorly written, I'm talking grammar, spelling that way, or any of those things, you're not going to get the repeat type stuff. But you can push these things out into so many different areas now. I mean, there's Facebook, there's Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. You can make a short video. You can Facebook Live about it. You can Periscope about it.
Snapchat.
You can do Snapchat. You can anchor it.
You can do anything. Oh my gosh. And then you look at the services that you use to pull data in for yourself to look at and find out, how do they get their content? Are they curating it personally? Are people submitting it? Are they just using search or whatever? But go and look in their help section and find out. So like if you are a Flipboard user, and you really like that, go and find out, how do I get my content to show up in here from other people, not just me putting it up there, but other people, and that'll really help. And look for Facebook groups that will ask for your content, not share your content, but ask. I have a couple of them, and they're called Operation Roundups, and it's people that are going to do a series for themselves, or magazine, or a name brand website, and they're like, so coming up is back to school. They're like, I want all of the back to school wear my shoes posts. Anybody who's ever done anything about the kids can't find their shoes in the morning, or back to school lunches that are vegan, or whatever, and you just go and put your post up there, and they may or may not use it. You're giving them permission to use it, to list it and that. But I get a lot of traffic that way. Every time I, find another one that I've got a post to apply that applies to it, I put it in there and I get a traffic.
Yep.
So, and there's ones for all different things.
So how can everybody find you?
You can find me at robins.world. There's no .com, no .net, robins.world. And then you can find me at robinsworld, no dot. On Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest. I'm the same person everywhere. So I'm Robyn's World. Just type that in, you'll find it.
There definitely can't be two of you, trust me.
Well, there's a lot of, the trick is to get people to know I'm a Y, ROBYN, instead of IN. So that's where it throws off. I do get search results for search traffic where they've typed in Robyn with an I, Robyn's World. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So as long as they're finding me still, but.
Really?
Yes. And all of my little chicklets are up on the top corner of my blog. You can easily, and at the bottom of my blog, you can easily find me on all those links there. So
that is fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
thank you for asking me. I appreciate it, and this was fun.
It was, it was. So for everybody else, if you're watching on the replay or on the YouTube later or wherever else, this is a conversation live. We had Robyn Wright from Robyn's World. Stay tuned for the next one with Ryan Stifelson talking about reputation management online. So until I see you again, take care.